Hey, Dad.
Yep.
I'm feeling really weird about this house. Do you not sense something odd?
No, I mean, it took a long time to sell, so we got a great deal on it. I don't see the problem.
Have you ever thought why it took so long?
Not really, no.
Because I read in the paper, and the family that was here before us died in a massacre.
So, I mean, people get murdered in houses all the time. It's like the number one place for a family to get murdered. I don't see the big deal at all.
But, like, you don't feel like it's haunted or something?
No.
Because it's, like, really hot in here.
Well, I mean, the AC's old. I just got to call the AC repair guy out and we'll be good.
But it's, like, 100 degrees in here, but it's 72 degrees outside.
All right, look, I mean, maybe the heat's stuck on. I'll just call my AC repair guy. He'll be out in a jiff. He'll take care of it.
Dad, that's not it.
The house is not haunted. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
But Dad, listen, the toaster just started randomly making toast the other day.
So what? Don't you like toast?
It said Freddy's coming.
Okay. You know how people will see pictures of like Jesus on a grilled cheese? I mean, who cares?
Dad, the toaster wasn't even plugged in.
All right, now I'll admit I can't explain that, but
also,
I mean,
have you not noticed that Jesse's acting really weird? He's like walking around with this glove that has claws in it.
Oh, come on. Like, he's a teenager. He's got a lot of teenage angst.
He slayed the cat.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe we better get out of here.
Slay the Cat. Slay the Cat. Podcast!
Slay the cat is speaking truth. Slay the cat is proof. Hear us talk your favorite film. Slay the cat is juiced. Slay the cat podcast. Slay the cat podcast. Slay the cat podcast. Slay the cat podcast.
What's up to all my bastard sons of 100 maniacs? You are listening to Slay the Cat, a movie podcast. I am your host, Joey.
And I'm his wife, Erin, who thinks cheap food can make my pet spontaneously combust.
Ooh, yeah. We're blowing up pets here at Slay the Cat. Left and right.
Not only are we blowing them up, but they are serving cunt. Because our dog, Giuseppe, is serving cuntiness.
Cuntiness.
Yeah. It's being very cunty.
Yeah. We have a boy dog, but we've been calling him a femboy lately.
Yes, he's very feminine.
If you don't know
if he was
Italian,
gay, I would totally not be surprised.
but it's because he's an Italian Greyhound, and Italian Greyhounds are very dainty.
Yes, he is dainty.
And we love our little femboy.
He is that bitch.
Yeah. We love him. So, Erin, how you doing?
I'm doing really well.
You are
I'm
off
on
for
break.
the summer. Yeah, hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. And I'm in between jobs, actually.
You're not in between jobs. You have accepted a new position.
Yes, I have a new position somewhere else.
You can talk about it now, though, officially, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to tell people where I work, but
obviously not.
I did get a job at a new district.
And you are a
theater teacher still.
No, a head director now.
I am the head director at a middle school.
Yeah.
Which is different from a high school, but I'm excited for it. I'm really excited. I get to have a little bit more time to be with my family and a little bit more time to be with my pets and to do this podcast with you big twerp.
Twerp.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
It's okay.
I'm just excited to be
I'm totally
off.
a twerp. Yeah, well, but I'm excited for you because this is the first time you've been a head director.
Yeah.
This will be your fifth year teaching, and you'll get full control over your department and everything. You won't have to talk it over with some other theater teacher.
Yeah. I just have to get things approved by my principal, and my principal seems fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited.
Yes, and I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Yep. That's it.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
are you up to, Joey?
Nothing. I usually think of a question to ask you at the top of the podcast, but I forgot to come up with one. So I'm just fluffing here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I had a question actually
Well, what's
about the movie. If we want to get into that.
Sure. Well, first, what's your background with the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise?
So I saw the first one when I was really young at my cousin's house. And I was very scared, so I didn't really watch it. Most of the time I had my eyes covered or I was like under the covers trying to like hide. So I didn't really watch it. And I think halfway through I even left the room and was just like, I can't do this. Growing up, I was very scared of everything. I don't know. I had a lot of fear, especially about horror movies and scary movies. So I didn't really watch them when I was young because I was really scared of them.
Right.
And I would get a lot of nightmares. So.
Oh man, being scared of horror movies is some of my best memories. For me, Nightmare on Elm Street. My favorite subgenre of horror is the psycho slasher genre because it was on cable television when I was a kid in the 90s. Mm-hmm. All the movies from the 80s were just on USA Up All Night all the time. And the very first Nightmare on Elm Street I saw was the second one. And I didn't really like it. But then I saw the first one and I was like, wow, this is probably one of the best psycho slasher movies in existence. Like it's such a crazy concept.
Yeah.
A guy who can kill you in your dreams.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a Wes Craven movie and he's one of the masters of the horror genre. So it's really well executed. But I think it gets kind of downgraded in people's mind because a lot of the sequels are really bad.
Oh, okay.
Like
I only seen the one that I actually do remember was Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, right.
Which was not great.
It's a bad movie. I like it, but it is a bad movie. But today we're going to be talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 2 because a lot of people say like this is a gay movie. There's gay overtones. I'm definitely not going to call them undertones. And I heard someone say that this is like a movie that gay people are into, but after doing some research, I don't think they were.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you.
Well, I mean the community as a whole. I'm sure there are some people who are gay who do like this movie, but I don't think this is like an iconic gay movie.
Oh, okay. Well, because I was going to ask you, like, because you read an article, or was it like just like a list of films? I wanted to ask you, like, what do people say, like, the reason for this movie being gay is?
Well,
because I see it. If you watch it, you'll see it.
Well, it has a lot to do with like the time it came out, like who's in it, who wrote it. This came out in 1985, I think, and this was a time of gay panic and AIDS.
I don't know
and stuff
this.
What do you mean?
I didn't know that. I didn't know that this was like a time of gay panic.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't born in the 80s. I don't really remember much.
Well, I mean,
time-wise of the 80s.
Any time before like 2000 was a time.
I remember
of gay panic.
like Satanic Panic.
Oh yeah, yeah. Were you at the McMartin preschool or whatever? Where they were flushing kids down the toilet?
Well, I've heard of it, but like that's something I knew about, but I didn't really know about gay panic.
Well, I mean, gay panic has been around forever.
Yeah.
But this was especially a time because of the AIDS epidemic.
Okay.
So it was in the news more. It was on people's conscience more. Mm-hmm. And the character who played Jesse was a gay actor, but he was in the closet at the time.
Yeah.
But the production knew that.
Oh, that's cool. That's interesting.
Well, he didn't like it. He said it was a bad experience. I think he quit acting right after this.
Oh.
And also, if you look at the movie as like a gay allegory of someone like struggling with their sexuality, at the end of the movie, he doesn't choose to be gay.
Yeah.
He chooses to go with a girl. And also, like,
I don't think anyone chooses to be gay in the movie.
well, like,
Yeah.
Of course, you can't choose that.
Oh,
A
no,
bad
that's not
choice
what
of
I'm
words. But yeah. So it's, if you look at it as an allegory, then Freddy, who's trying to use his body, would be his homosexual side, right?
Yeah.
That's trying to manifest itself. And Freddy is a villain who kills people. So it's saying like, oh, homosexuality is bad.
Yeah.
And there's other interesting things, like Jesse is a gender neutral name. Like he screams like a girl.
Oh, yeah. Whenever
Whenever
that
he wakes
first
up from
scream
a nap.
happens, I was like, oh, who's that girl?
Yeah. And then his relationship with Lisa, who's the main character, is also like more platonic than it is romantic.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just because the actor was gay, so they don't have chemistry.
Maybe.
But also, like, he seems to be very close with Grady.
He does, yeah.
Yeah. And
I thought it was Ron. Oh, Ron Grady.
Yeah, Ron Grady. But also the psycho slasher thing, like, the big trope of those is the final girl. The main character of the movie is usually a girl who survives at the end. So it's a boy in this one.
Yeah. Well,
So
I
they
mean, there was a
flip-flop
girl
that
that kind of survives at the end.
Yeah, but still,
I mean,
you know,
everyone survives pretty much.
this is just like things that people have pointed out.
Very few people died in this movie.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that's one of the things that makes it not great. But
I want to know how many people died in the first one.
I'm gonna say maybe just 5.
Okay.
Johnny Depp dies.
Johnny Depp's in it?
Yeah, that was his very first movie.
Huh.
Yeah, he got discovered by Wes Craven. Yeah, there was some more stuff about it. But I think one of the things is, like, since it came out in the mid 80s, how much gay representation was around back then?
Yeah, very,
Like-
very, very little.
Yeah, so there's probably some people who were watching this in the 80s being like, well, I mean, if this is what I got, this is what I got.
Yeah.
You know, now you have a lot more media to choose from if you want to, you know, get some self-representation. But maybe that's what made people to latch onto it. But I really couldn't find anything saying that this movie was, like, iconic in the gay community.
Oh, okay.
There's just a lot of
So
talk
where
about.
did you hear that or see that?
I think I heard somebody say it on a podcast.
Oh, okay.
And then I remembered when they said it, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. There's all that BDSM stuff in it.
Kind of, yeah.
With the coach. And I was like, right. But then when we were watching it this time, I was like, well, that is like the one part of gay panic about it, right?
Yeah.
But,
Well, I saw more than that.
okay, well, tell us.
Well, do you want to talk about it now? Well, I don't. So first of all, I lost my notes. I don't know where they're at, but some of the things that like kind of popped up were like there was. I asked you while we were watching this if like the people that were in these dream states that if they were like sweating or hot a lot, and you told me no, like that's not something that's consistent through the rest of the films. And so, well, that's one of them. Having this kid waking up, well, this teenager waking up, he's probably not a teenager at the time, but like sweating and like that's a very like erotic look to have like a man that's all sweaty, like
yeah.
but then also like there was lots of butts in the movie.
Yeah.
Like there's one part where Grady pulls, like he pantses Jesse.
Right.
And like the girls are like, ooh, look at his butt. That's a nice butt. And I was like, girls don't say that shit. That's weird. I mean, we do say like, oh, like he's got a cute butt, but not like a bear butt. Maybe some people. But he's also wearing a jock strap. Is that something that people wear?
No, usually if you're playing baseball, you usually only wear it if you're the catcher.
Yeah.
But sometimes
You were a
infielder-
catcher. Did
Yeah.
you wear a jockstrap?
Yeah, I had to. I didn't want my balls to get crushed by the baseball.
Well, I thought there was like a little area for like a cup,
Yeah.
like in your pants, not in under.
No, you have to wear it. I mean, you can shove it down your underwear. I used to do that too, but like if I forgot to put my jockstrap on,
Oh. It just
But-
kind of holds it in place.
yeah, it holds it in place better than your underwear.
Oh, okay.
Especially if you're not wearing like tighty whities.
So do you, and also like a jockstrap.
Well,
Do you-
in movies, it's always funny because they always show the jockstrap, but it's like, why are they bare-assed under it too? Like
I was going to ask that.
Okay.
Why do you, whenever you wear a jockstrap, do you go no underwear or do you like wear underwear underneath the jockstrap or over the jockstrap?
I used to wear the jockstrap over my underwear and then put the cup in.
Okay.
So
So even if you got pants, nobody would see your butt.
No.
They'd see your underwear.
no, I feel like someone's gonna write in and be like, "Dude, you were wearing that totally wrong." Oh shit!
I have no idea. But
Yeah.
like also the other thing, whenever I think of jockstrap, does it go inside your butt crack or does
No, there's these straps that go on the side of it.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Because
Yeah.
I've seen those little straps and I'm like, ooh, okay. That looks like very lingerie-esque,
Right.
I guess. But like, yeah, like butts and jock straps, I think is kind of erotic, but like it's all men.
Yeah,
So-
I would probably. I would
There was
maybe
a lot-
homoerotic.
There was also like a lot less tits in this than like a lot of other slashers.
Oh yeah, I don't think this had any female nudity in it.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Like even whenever he was like kissing Lisa, like she was fully clothed.
yeah.
So
Meryl Streep Jr., as I'm calling her.
well, like the whole, like, yeah, in the whole film, like, there's not a lot of like female sexualization, but like in a lot of other horror films, there's tons of it.
That's what I think. Like, I don't know why or how, but like the relationship with Lisa really seems like it's put on the back burner, and it feels so much more platonic. Whereas, like, whenever he really needs to talk and be vulnerable, he talks to Grady.
Yeah.
When he leaves the pool party that night, where does he go? He goes to Grady's house, and they're both like Grady's in his underwear up there.
Yeah.
They're in his room, and he's like, "Watch me sleep." You know, like
Sexy.
I think I don't think any of this was intentional. I think it was all by accident.
Yeah.
And I read some of the people who worked on the movie together. They were saying like each one of them had a different way of looking at it. So I think a lot of this movie is just open to interpretation.
Okay.
They made a movie and then people saw what they wanted to see. Like Robert Englund, the guy who plays Freddy, he said it was like about a bisexual person.
Oh.
And he thought it was intentional. And I was like, well, you weren't on set that much, probably.
Yeah.
Because Freddy Krueger's barely in this movie, too, which is another misstep of it.
Yeah.
I feel like he was on screen maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah. The other part that's real gay is the part where like there's even like when they're doing like the push-ups, Grady says like they're talking about the coach and he says something along the lines of yeah, he likes pretty boys like you. And like saying like, oh, he wants to go after you because he's gay. And they're like saying that the coach is gay.
Yeah,
like,
they said
several
that he
times.
goes to the S&M clubs downtown or something like that.
Which he does. We find
Yeah.
out later.
Yeah.
And then like the whole shower scene. Also,
Crazy, that shower scene.
whenever he was in the shower, like, so he finds Jesse at the bar and Jesse has a drink and he like grabs it and he's like, he says something to him. I don't know if he says hit the showers or something. He says something to him. And
Yeah, he
I was
does. I
like,
just
why
can't
did
remember.
he take him to the school to take a shower?
Well, he has him running laps in the gym first.
But why? It is the night.
I could never understand if that was partially a dream or it actually happened.
Yeah.
I've never really understood it because it doesn't make sense. But the guy is obviously like, he is gay man who we're supposed to be afraid of, right? So like that's the part of the gay panic that like was bubbling up in the straight writer was like, oh, gay men are scary. You know, gay men wear leather and they want to punish you and shit like that. So that's where that all comes from.
Yeah. Well, because like, but that whole scene was very weird.
Yeah.
And like had like the BDSM vibes because like he literally gets strung up by jump ropes, naked, his clothes are ripped off, and then I think it starts whipping him.
Yeah, with towels.
It's very homoerotic.
Yeah, it's very...
I guess you could say it's just erotic, period. It doesn't have to be homoerotic.
I can imagine somebody who's into this kind of kink being like, yeah, let's do the thing where I'm tied up in the shower and you whip me with a towel. I can totally see people doing this.
Yeah, totally. But also, like, I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing that I can see that I could maybe understand a queer person watching this and identifying with it is the BDSM stuff or the S&M, whatever you call it. Because you know why a lot of gay men are into kink?
Why?
Because when you're a young man, like the things that you're around like get tied to your sexuality.
Yes, I've
like
heard that.
Foot fetish. People say like you saw feet a lot when you were a kid, or like another one is like private school uniforms. You know, it's because you were in private school at the time. Like I'm not attracted to private school uniforms because I went to public school. So I see a school uniform like that and I'm like, that's little girls. That's weird and creepy.
Yeah.
But other men might be into that. You know, maybe seeing a grown woman in that, not a kid. Okay. But anyway, so a lot of gay men who grew up at a time where it wasn't okay to be gay would punish themselves and have a lot of self-hatred for having thoughts, maybe romanticizing about other men or boys or whatever. So that becomes tied to their sexuality. So when they get older and they accept themselves, they still have all these weird fantasies tied to it and the self-hatred and the punishment and stuff like that. So they begin to engage in S&M play and BDSM or whatever. And you might be saying like, well, you know, that makes them sound deviant or whatever, but it's not. It's really like taking the power back and owning your own sexuality.
Well, I've heard, like, I've listened to dominatrixes like talk about like a lot of their clients are like really high powered men.
Yeah.
And they want to feel minuscule and like, because it's like a flip of what their lives are like. But then there's also like those people that are like the opposite, like they are high power and they want to dominate still. Like, so I get people have kinks.
Yeah.
People have, reasons for their kinks, and some people don't have reasons for their kinks.
Yeah, but it's all fine as long as it's consensual.
Yeah,
and people are of the right ages.
But like you said, like they feel like they punish themselves, and so it's a way for them to kind of take control of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or at least that's what I heard or I read about in some psychology thing in college or something like that. But the thing that you're talking about with like powerful men, it's because that
women.
Yeah, and women. But the powerful men, I know about this because I'm a man. But that like men who are in positions of high power, and you grow up as a boy never being able to show vulnerability, and then you work into these high areas. It's like you want privately, behind closed doors, your sexual encounters. You want to be humiliated because that's a time where you can actually be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So that's really where that stems from. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Welcome to Sex Talk with Joey and Aaron.
I'm really fascinated by the psychology and sociology of like sex and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
you said that last podcast.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. But I minored in sociology in college, so that's where I learned a lot of this stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. So anything else you want to talk about?
I don't have my notes, so I can't remember.
Okay.
But it might pop up whenever we're talking.
All right. I think we
About the
talked
movie.
enough in the abstract. We can get into it scene by scene. So this is a New Line Cinema movie. And we see a bus driving down a normal neighborhood street. Mm-hmm. And Robert Englund is the bus driver. Did you see the bus driver?
Nope.
That's Freddy Krueger, but he wasn't in his Freddy Krueger makeup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he lets some kid off the bus, and Jesse's off on there, and they're just driving along.
And there's these girls laughing at him. And one of my notes, I remember I wrote down, like, why are they laughing at him? Like,
Are they laughing at Jesse, or are they just like being giggly girls?
well, they keep looking back at him.
Oh.
So, like, is he just like nerdy and they're like laughing because he's a nerd, or like what's going on? It was very confusing.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the bus starts speeding up, and then they like kind of go off the road, and the girls are like freaking out. And then Freddy Krueger is now the bus driver,
Yeah.
and they like drive off into like a pit.
Yeah, and the girls try to get him to stop, but he won't. Jesse tries to open the window, and he can't. But then the ground starts to cave in all around them, and they're just like, what would you call those things?
Stalagmites.
Stalagmites?
Stalactites.
I don't know.
One of them. Mites or tights.
Yeah. But
Stalag something.
the bus is just teetering on this stalagmite, and then Freddy approaches them, and he's being
I think
all
it's
menacing. It might reach the ceiling, right? Uh-oh. Or it might touch the ground. I don't know. I can't remember because they work interchangeably.
Yeah. I think stalagmites are the ones that go up.
Because it might touch the ceiling.
Maybe they're wider. I don't know. And the ones from the ceiling are thinner or something. I don't know.
Stalactite.
Yeah. Anyways, they're stuck on the bus, and then the Freddy Krueger starts walking behind to the back of the bus, kind of chasing him, and then he wakes up, right?
Yeah. Then he wakes up screaming at home.
It's screaming like a girl.
Yeah, it was a very girly scream.
But then his little sister goes, "Why can't Jesse wake up like everybody else?" And I thought it was one of the girls that was having the dream.
Yeah.
Because Jesse is an interchangeable name. Anyways,
and he's just having a bad nightmare. And then we see that, like, in his room, there's a bunch of moving boxes in there from U-Haul.
Because they just moved to their house.
Yeah. And he gets up in his whitey tighties. And he goes downstairs, and they're like, "Oh, you need to clean your room."
His dad is. His dad's very much like, you need to clean your room. You need to.
Yeah.
He's on him.
And the dad is the same actor from The Return of the Living Dead.
Okay.
Yeah. He's the guy who owns the medical supply store.
Oh.
Seriously, whatever you do tonight, do this weekend, don't name it after me. That's what he says.
Gross.
And it's funny, his sister is eating a box of cereal, and it's called Fu Manchus.
Yeah.
And it has like a caricature of like a Chinese man on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very offensive.
Yeah, and she's looking for the toy in it. And did you see what the toy was?
Something to do with karate.
No, it was the finger, those long fingers.
Oh, the long fingers, yeah.
Yeah, to be like Freddy's glove. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then they're like, okay, Lisa's here. So they ride to school together. Mm-hmm. And
But he picks her up.
Yeah, I think it's his car. But
his mom makes him leave, and so he goes to pick up Lisa.
Oh, I thought she was there. She came there.
Maybe.
Well, anyway,
maybe they live across the street or something.
Maybe. I don't think so because she's from the rich neighborhood. Well, whatever. And they're playing baseball in gym class, and somebody asked Lisa, like, "Hey, you getting any from that new guy?"
Immediately, it's like, didn't he just move here?
Do girls say stuff like that? Like, if you were in high school and you like one of your friends saw you hanging out with a guy and be like, "Oh, are you having sex with that guy?"
No, it would be more like, So what's going on with you two?
Yeah, see,
it wouldn't
that's
be
what I
like,
thought.
are you fucking each other? No, we don't say that shit.
That's what I thought. I was like, ooh, why? Too far, too fast.
Yeah. And it wasn't even like, hey, are y'all having sex? It was like, I don't remember how she says it, but it was like, it was further than that.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of whoever wrote this does not know how to write women.
Oh, probably not.
And so it was very all of the women's lines are very like, what? No one says that.
Yeah.
No woman actually says that. I mean, there might be some, but
Well, I mean, I a lot of these horror movies from this time, like the people writing it don't know how to write women, and they don't care because they're
Yeah.
just they're gonna get killed.
they're
anyway.
just objects.
Yeah. But anyway, Jesse gets hit by the ball, and then Grady pulls his pants down, and they start fighting with each other. Mm-hmm. And I remember when this happened, you said, like, no wonder gay people like this movie.
Yeah. Well, because
I don't
like,
know why you said that.
it was like his butt, like just straight shots of his butt. And then they were rolling around in the dirt with his pants down.
Uh-huh.
It was very sexual. And I was like, I can see.
Fighting is overtly sexual.
It
in a
is,
way.
absolutely.
Yeah. One of my favorite like homoerotic fight scenes was the first. I don't remember which Fast and Furious it was, but it was the one where The Rock and Vin Diesel fight for the first time.
Ooh, sexy bald men.
Two muscular bald men, like all sweaty, like just grunting and
Yeah.
throwing each other around. I was like, this is homoerotic.
Yeah. Fighting is very like sexual.
Yeah. And there was that trope in the 90s about like women fighting, like guys getting off to women fighting.
Yeah,
too.
like mud wrestling and shit.
Yeah. I used to hate that.
We're going to have a jello pool for the girls to fight in. I think it's because they're slippery.
I guess. I don't know.
Maybe
I don't
they'll
want
get
to.
a
I
nip
don't.
slip.
I'm just going to say it. I'm not turned on by women covered in food
Or mud.
or mud. No.
Covered in anything.
I'm not saying not anything, but
What should I cover myself? Okay. What should I cover myself in, Joey?
I don't know. Just not food,
Feces?
please. Do you want me to throw up?
Please. Oh, gross. Slippery. Gross.
Guys, this one is getting blue.
Sorry.
If you got your kids watching, listening, turn it off now,
Oh my gosh.
or send them out of the room.
This isn't even very like vulgar movie either. There's
No.
just like lots of undertones,
Yeah,
overtones, like you said.
yeah, they're definitely over, not under.
Yeah.
But anyway, they are now doing push-ups as punishment.
Are they doing push-ups or are they just doing planks?
Well, when you've done too many push-ups and they make you stay down there, like your form just goes to shit.
Well, no, I know, but like it looked like they were like just struggling to just be upright.
Yeah, because their muscles are done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But anyway,
it looked like they were doing planks.
they're sitting there talking like, oh, this coach, he loves to punish people. And what he says, like, he calls him a pretty boy, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, he goes to those S&M clubs downtown. And the coach is watching him through the window.
When is the moment where Grady tells him about the house?
I was about to get to that.
Oh, okay.
So he says dirt balls hit the showers, and because he likes to call them dirt balls, which it's dirt bag, not dirt balls.
Another
You call somebody a dirt bag.
homoerotic moment. Call them balls instead of bags.
Yeah, and then so they're in the locker room, and
Dirt sacks.
and Grady
Dirt testicles.
is like, so do you live around here? And he says, yeah, my parents just bought a place on Elm Street. He goes, Elm Street? You're telling me you moved into that big white house with the bars on the windows? Yeah, what about it? Shit, you can tell your old man's a real chump. What are you talking about now, Grady? Some chick was locked in there by her mother and she went crazy. She watched her boyfriend get butchered across the street by some maniac. You're full of shit, Grady. So we're already finding
5 minutes in.
Yeah, we're getting recapped into what happened, and just in case you forgot, and you probably
I've never seen.
I didn't realize it was the same house from the first movie until they said that. I was like, oh, it is the same house.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then of course you didn't know.
Yeah. I didn't hear them say that. So I think that's why I was like, because later on he says, like, my friend told me about this house and how someone was locked in her room and she went crazy because her boyfriend got chopped up by a maniac. And I was like, when did that happen? So I didn't hear him say this all.
Yeah, I think one of the...
I was too busy watching them shower.
Yeah. Erin, you dirty girl.
I'm not.
Anyway, now I can't get that thought out of my head.
The boys showering?
That you were watching them shower. No, one of the strengths I think about this movie is the way that they call back the first movie in really interesting ways.
Yeah.
You know, like when they find her journal and stuff like that. And
I thought the journal was
newspaper-
smart.
Yeah, and newspaper articles. I think that's a good strength of this movie is that they tied it to the original as much as possible.
I mean, they could have done more.
I mean, yeah, of course they could have done more, but I like that they did. They could have done less too, Aaron, or none at all.
Yeah.
The whole time they could have been confused about the house. So then that night, Jesse's sleeping, and he goes downstairs to get some juice out of the fridge. Mm-hmm. And he hears some noise outside, so he goes outside. And you see the area from the first movie where Nancy first sees Freddy in like their backyard alley or something like that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but then he looks down in the basement and he sees the furnace going. You remember that?
Yeah.
And he's like, what the hell is going on in there?
Doesn't he go inside and go to the furnace?
Yeah, he goes back through the front door and down the basement. And he goes and looks in... and he sees the hand in the furnace, or is that later?
I think that's later.
Okay.
I think he saw Freddy in the furnace.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then parents come in and because he screams and they're like, "Oh, you're having a bad dream," and they're like, "Do you need help? Do we need to get you some help?" And he's like, "No, I'm fine." So then the next day he's in science class, and they're listening to a very boring lecture. From a Ferris Bueller teacher type guy. Mm-hmm. And then someone farts in class.
That one, I can't remember
that. Or somebody makes a fart noise. And the whole time, like, Jesse's just, like, asleep at his desk. And this was your favorite part, right?
Yeah,
Aaron?
this is whenever, like, he's, like, falling asleep in class.
Uh-huh.
And Grady makes a fart noise, and that's what wakes him up.
Yeah, but remember the part you already shut this part out, didn't you?
Probably
because the snake is crawling on him.
Yes. There's a snake crawling on him. I hate snakes so much.
Yeah, this was a cool misdirect though, because you think like, oh, he's starting to have a nightmare, and it's mixing in with like his daily activity, which that happened in the first movie with Nancy.
Yeah.
Like she's just at school. And she starts to have a dream while she's at school because she fell asleep at her desk. So this is kind of a misdirect. And I'm like, oh, you're supposed to think that he's having a nightmare. And then it turns out that Grady just played a trick on him.
By grabbing a fucking snake and wrapping it around him?
Yeah. I can't imagine any teacher having that big of a snake in their classroom.
I cannot either.
That thing was huge. Those snakes that size are strong.
Yeah.
Like they can get out, you know.
And the terrarium it was in was not big.
No.
I had a friend who had a snake, like a huge boa constrictor. I don't know if that's what they were called. Yeah?
I don't know.
It was yellow.
Oh, well, I mean, it's probably one of those that squeezes you or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was huge, and their tank was like as big as... I don't even know. It was
You're
huge.
looking around the room to see, like, oh, where's something that
I know,
was...
and then the listeners could not understand. It was big. It was very large.
Yeah, one
Probably
of my
like
neighbors.
the size of a dining table, and they had this huge thing on top of it with a lot of stuff on top, so he couldn't escape.
Yeah,
because he had before.
Yeah.
And that whenever I heard that, it freaked me out. And I was like, you have to lock your door to your room if I stay the night because I was so scared. I would have nightmares that it would come into her room because her room was actually fucking cool. She had the rooms were really tiny, but her dad built a closet and the bed was on top of the closet.
Oh, that's cool.
It was super fucking cool. I loved staying over at their house because it was really cool. But I would have nightmares that it would climb up the closet ladder to go up to the bed and like kill me.
Wow, that's so funny. My neighbor, he lived directly across the street from my house. Like I've showed you my childhood house, but it was directly across the street. They had snakes too.
Ugh.
And they had a really big one. It was the same thing. It was in this big tank and they had all this stuff on top of it because it could get out. And I remember once they told me that it did get out and they found it in the bathroom and it had like found and killed a rat or something like
my
that.
gosh.
I was like, ooh, yeah. And I only stayed at their house a couple times. But yeah, it scared me too.
I was terrified
I
of
did
it.
not sleep well those nights.
And the parents, like, it was in their parents' room. And I'm like, ugh, I cannot. How can you have that huge ass snake and sleep next to it?
Some people like snakes.
I don't like.
Yeah. And plus, I mean, most of them don't bite or hurt humans anyway. So
I'd beg to differ. I've never been bitten by a snake, but I hate it. Anyways.
Okay. So then Lisa is at home in her pool and she gets a phone call and she goes, "Oh, hi, Jesse." And they're going to hang out. And he goes downstairs and he's like, "I'm going to go out for a few hours." And they're like, "Not till you clean your room, mister."
Yeah.
So he goes up there and he's, this is, what's going to happen if you've ever seen any 80s movies before. He's going to put on some music.
And dance while he cleans his room.
He's going to clean dance. This is one of my favorite 80s tropes ever. Like,
yeah, it's really funny.
Anytime the movie comes to a complete halt and they're like, dance scene. I love it. Footloose when he goes in that warehouse and dances.
Yeah,
or
I like it too.
Like also the dance sex from Roadhouse.
Oh, yeah.
That weird scene. Love it.
There's a lot of dancing in Roadhouse.
Yeah, there is. But that one specifically.
Yeah. I think anytime Patrick Swayze's in a movie, he has to like dance in some type of way.
I don't think he dances on Point Break. Or fight. He either dances or fights. It's got one of those two, right?
Anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, this dancing, that's also very like, he was dancing very provocatively, like bumping his butt all over things.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could see how it's gay.
I wonder if they asked him to ad-lib that stuff or what. Like.
Yeah. And then Lisa comes in and I was like, bitch, I thought he was going to meet you. Why are you coming to his house?
Well, probably because he called her and like, "Oh, my parents are making me clean my room."
Maybe.
She's a teenager in love. She just wants to be with him.
Didn't they meet like a week ago?
Who knows? You know how teenagers are. Aaron, I know they're 35 in real life, but they're playing teenagers.
Yeah,
teenagers
but they
aren't impulsive
also,
and crazy.
Anyways, whatever.
For someone who used to teach teenagers, you forget what they're like pretty easily.
I never fell in love in a week.
You fell in love with me in a week?
No one was worth it like you were.
Wow. How heartwarming.
Anyways, so she comes over and they're cleaning his room, and that's when she finds the diary.
Yeah.
And it's like stuck in his closet, and so she like takes it down. She goes, "Oh, it's her diary," and she starts reading some things from it. Like the first one's like an entry about like a crush
I have
she
it
had.
here. Do you want to read it?
Oh, sure.
Do you want to do a little what do you call that? Little performance.
So she finds the diary in Jesse's closet and reads the first page. "Sometimes when I'm lying here in bed, I can see Glenn in the window across the way getting ready for bed. His body is slim and smooth, and I know I shouldn't watch him, but that part of me that wants him forces me to. That's when I waken. That's when I want to go to him. That's when I weaken." Can I see it? He begins to read the pages. March 15th.
He comes to me at night, horrible, ugly, and dirty, under the sheets with me tearing at my nightgown with his steel claws. His name is Fred, and he keeps trying to take me to a boiler room. He wants to kill me.
What is it? Tina is dead. Jesse, are you okay?
It's just something that Grady said about the girl that used to live here, how she went crazy and she saw her boyfriend get murdered across the street.
Yeah. So this like kind of just confirms what Grady had told Jesse earlier.
Yeah. And Glenn, who she's talking about, that's Johnny Depp in the first movie.
Is that her boyfriend?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, oh man, when I saw this movie for the first time when I was young, like his death like really rattled me because it was so creepy. But he's like sleeping in this bed, right? Like he falls asleep in a waterbed, I think it was, watching TV, and like he gets sucked inside of it, and then just nothing but blood shoots out of it and hits the ceiling.
Wow.
And like totally creeped me out when I was a kid. I don't remember how old I was, but I was like, oh my God. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. So then he's tossing and turning at night again, and things are melting in his room because it's so hot.
Yeah.
And this is when he goes to the basement.
Yeah, and this is where he finds the glove. Because earlier, whenever he's like walking through the house, when he's sleepwalking, Freddy comes to him in his face, and he's like, he says, I need you.
Yeah, he's like, I need your body. Like, I have the brains and you have the body, or something like that.
So he's like telling him like he wants to take over his body and possess him, which I don't think that's been in any of the other movies, right?
No.
So that's weird. But
Yeah.
he wants to possess him so he can kill for him.
Yeah, this is what really sucks about this movie, is that what you like about the other movies is that these elaborate dream sequences where people are getting killed in their dream. And this is just him dreaming about walking around his house. And then Freddy appears and he's like, I need your body, dude.
And then also like later on,
want your body.
whenever
Give me
someone
your
does
body.
die, it's like, it's not a dream. It's just like it's happening to them without him doing it, but then he ends up being the one that did it.
Yeah.
So
It's weird. But he finds a glove in the furnace and he says, try it on. And then he's like, kill for me.
yeah.
And then he talks to Lisa about it the next day.
Yeah, because she has the journal, and she also talks about how like she did some research, and like she was like, yeah, his name was Fred Krueger, and like he did like something like he kidnapped 20 kids and killed them.
Well, I don't think she says that yet. But
she has like a newspaper clipping for it.
yeah, she does. Yeah, she has a newspaper about it, I think. That's right.
And so like then that later on they go to where he actually killed all of the kids.
Yeah. But they talk about Lisa's party. They set up that she's going to be having a party. And then it shows them running in gym class again. And this is another scene. Jesse says, Schneider shouldn't have called you out that way the last play. Because they were playing something, I guess, some game, and then Schneider got on him. That's the name of that coach. And he goes, yeah, well, Schneider's got to stick up his ass today. Schneider's always got to stick up his ass. And then Schneider walks up behind them and goes, hello, dirt balls. And then they're like, oh, shit.
That's when they have to
Yeah, that's when they're running
do push-ups.
now. Yeah.
They had to do push-ups again.
Oh, okay. And then it goes back to their house, and this is when they're like, oh, it's really hot in the house. And the dad looks at the thermostat, and he's like, it's 91 degrees in here. And this dad is in total denial about having
The
bought
whole
a
house.
Yeah. Because they say it took like 5 years to sell the house. And he's like, well, they just couldn't find the right price. I just love how this dad was like, nope. It's
He
not
seems like
that.
a cheap ass.
Yeah, he totally seems like my dad.
So
My parents bought a house on kind of like it's a nice house, but it's kind of on a bad block.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad never wanted to admit that like it's kind of a bad spot.
yeah. Well, I was I was talking to one of my friends, and I was like, oh yeah, my mother-in-law, they live over here, and he was like, oh no, tell her to be careful. And I was like, oh, why? And he was like, well, a lady got shot here at this Walgreens on the corner.
Oh yeah, there's always people getting hurt on that corner. Somebody got shot literally right in front of my parents' house.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Did they die?
Yeah.
I bet their house is haunted. That's terrible.
Yeah, but no, I remember when I was in high school, like somebody would ask me where I live, and I'd be like, the corner of Braeswood and Gessner, and they'd be like, oh yeah. I'm like,
be careful.
yeah. I'd get some weird looks. I'm like, no, I live in the neighborhood though. There's some rough apartment complexes right there, but
dang, that's crazy.
yeah.
Were your parents already living in the house when the guy died?
Yeah. No, yeah. It happened a few years ago. Like maybe before well, that wouldn't have been a few years ago, but maybe around the time that we started dating.
Oh, wow.
Just before that. But they lived there for 20 years. They're used to it now.
They're used to all the guys dying outside of their house. It's terrible. Anyways, they're in the house, and then everyone's like hot, and his wife's like, we should do something about this. And he's like, I just need to call the AC repair guy. And then the bird cages start shaking.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck is going on with these bird cages?
Yeah, and then there was like a little blanket over the top of it, and Jesse goes to remove the blanket and tries to get the birds out, but they just fly out.
One of them is decapitated.
Oh, like one of the birds killed the other bird, right?
Yeah. And then the other bird starts flying around everywhere.
Yeah, and he's like trying to attack them.
I think it was meant to be like Freddy Krueger had like sliced one of the bird's heads off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
And then the other bird was flying around, and then it spontaneously combusts.
Yeah, well, it tries to attack him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the next scene is like the dad is like trying to move the stove, and he's like, Jesse, help me move the stove. And he's like, well, a gas leak wouldn't cause that bird to blow up.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know, you did this. You used a goddamn cherry bomb.
God.
So funny. Like, how was he going to...
You watched him take the blanket off.
Yeah, how are you going to attach a cherry bomb to a bird and then fly around and light it somehow? That's crazy. And then he tells the wife, it's like, it's all that cheap bird seed you've been buying.
So terrible.
I know. I just love how much in denial this dad is.
Yeah.
No, it's not a murder house. We just got a good deal. And then, so again, there's way too many scenes of him just like not being able to sleep.
Yeah.
But then he goes down stairs and there's lightning in the kitchen. He goes outside and then he just wanders down the street.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing. There's like random spurts of lightning that just happen. Like it happens in the first dream and then it happens here, but it doesn't really happen anywhere else.
Yeah, but I think it's raining when he goes to the club, when he walks out there.
Oh, okay.
And he's wet at that club.
But it was like lightning inside the kitchen.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There was.
So it's like, what the fuck?
I don't know.
What's the deal with the lightning? Is lightning in the first one?
I don't think so. Yeah. But anyway, he's at the S&M bar, and he goes up to the bartender and gets a beer. Mm-hmm. But before he's about to drink it, the coach puts his hand down, and he says, like, hello, dirtball or something. I don't remember. And then
the next scene is him running, like, laps in the gym.
Yeah, in the basketball gymnasium or whatever.
Go hit the showers.
Yeah. So he's in there taking a shower.
Which I think is the weirdest thing. Like, that's the thing that's so weird to me. Like, why is his... Because none of these are dreams. Like, they're like small little snippets of dreams.
I don't know if it's a dream or not.
But, like, most of them aren't. Most of it's just like, he's out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like, is this half a dream? Because Freddy hasn't manifested himself through Jesse yet. So who tied up the coach and whipped him with a towel?
I think it's supposed to be Jesse did it because he has the claw on after.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's really what's the word?
Not
ambiguous. Good? Not good. Yeah. No, I love this scene.
It's
titillating.
It is, but also very titillating. But it's just kind of weird because it's like, what's happening?
Yeah, I know, but I do like. I think it's my favorite scene in the whole movie.
The other part that's really homoerotic is like all the balls flying in his face.
Yeah, that happens before that. All the balls are like flying off the shelf and hitting him. Mm-hmm. And then the jump ropes come down and like tie around his wrists. And then it drags him to the shower.
And rips his clothes off.
Ties him up to the shower spigots and rips his clothes off, his leather daddy clothes. And spanks his ass with rolled up towels. Mm-hmm. And it's... and
then it slashes his back.
Yeah, that's right. It slashes his back, too. The Freddy glove. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then
you see Jesse with the glove on in the shower.
Right.
Because it looks like he's watching the whole thing.
Yeah, but this whole part is ambiguous, and I think it's supposed to be like that on purpose. Because then... They go back to his house and there's a knock on the door and his parents go down there and the cops have him and they're like, is this your son? And you better keep him on a tight leash.
Yeah.
You know? So then they leave and the dad's like, I'm just going to ask you 2 questions. What are you taking and where are you getting it from?
So I didn't realize he said where you're getting it from.
Yeah. And like this dad, I swear to God, just does not want to face anything that's going on.
Yeah.
He wants to take the easy way out and everything. Like, no, he's just on drugs. He doesn't have any psychological issues. He just needs to get off the goddamn drugs. So then in the morning, he leaves for school. Mm-hmm. And, his mom's like, are you sure you're okay? And all this, like being a typical mom, concerned. Mm-hmm. And then his dad is like fixing something on the house. And he says, I'll tell you what he needs is a good kick in the butt or a methadone clinic or something.
I don't know what methadone is.
Methadone is a drug they use to help heroin addicts quit heroin.
Oh, okay.
Right. And then they get to school and there's a big commotion at school.
What is the commotion? I can't remember that part.
Well, Grady comes out and says that Schneider got wasted the night before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it immediately goes back home, and he finds the Freddy glove in his room. Mm-hmm. And
he tries to hide it, doesn't he?
Yeah. And then
he goes and throws it in the front. I don't know what he does with it.
I don't remember. But then this is when he sees the famous girls jump roping, and they're singing that song. You know that one?
1, 2, Freddy. I've heard that song before.
Yeah.
But who was that?
They've just been a fixture of every movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I thought it was his little sister.
Oh, it might have been. I don't know. But the girls are in every movie doing that. And
but there was only one girl, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was only one. Oh, wait. I'm probably conflating that and The Shining.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be 1. It could be 2. I don't remember.
Yeah, I just remember like a little blonde girl like jumping rope singing the song.
You know the
And it was in his
song?
sister's room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the song. Do you want me to sing it?
Sure.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your doors. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. 7, 8, stay up late. 9, 10, Freddy's coming again.
That's Never Sleep Again.
Never Sleep Again? Okay. My cousin would sing it.
Oh, which one?
The one that I watched this movie with.
Well, who was it? You
Angela.
don't want to say their name? Oh, okay.
It's a very generic name.
Yeah. But then he sees the girl jump roping, and then he's going to kill his sister, but he stops himself at the last minute. Mm-hmm. She wakes up. And she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, it's late. Go back to sleep. So then the next day he asked the dad about the house, and he's like, "Why did it take so long to sell the house?" And he's like, "No, I guess I couldn't find the right price." Mm-hmm. And then this is when the toaster catches fire.
Yeah. This is also when Jesse's like, "Dad, this house is haunted. I found all this stuff out." And he's like yelling at him.
Yeah. And then he's like, the toaster catches fire. It's like, "How do you explain that?" And he's like, "It wasn't even plugged in." Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's still like, it's probably fine.
Damn Sears and Roebuck sell me this bunk-ass toaster. I'm going to take it back right now. And then he drives with Lisa, and they go to the plant. It was like a power plant. Mm-hmm. And then she says that he took 20 kids and kidnapped them to the boiler room and killed them. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to remember if this was the movie that turned him into a child molester. Like the original movie never mentions anything about molesting children, just killing them. And then this one does. I don't remember when they made him a child molester, but I think it was a really bad step because a lot of these slasher films, eventually it becomes about the slasher.
Yeah.
Like you go to the movies to see Jason. So yeah. Like, do you really want to go and see
a child molester?
Yeah, a child molester. I think it really hurt the movies in the later on in the franchise.
I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense for the movie, though. Like,
yeah, it makes sense, but
why is a grown man just randomly killing children?
Yeah, I mean, I understand, but I mean, serial killers kill children.
Do they just kill just children?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of serial killers, like...
Well, I mean, like, Dean Corll tortured him first, but...
But I was, like, about to say, like, most of the time, like, it's a sexual thing. Like, what is the clown guy?
John Wayne Gacy.
He, like, molested the kids and then killed them.
Yeah.
So, it makes sense.
Well, he probably had full-on sex with them first.
Isn't that molestation?
Yeah, that's molestation. But I'm just saying to clarify, he probably had sex with them and then killed them.
Are you talking about Freddy?
No, I'm talking about John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, but I think he also tortured them and killed them. But he never really talked about it afterwards.
Yeah, because he was a pedophile. Like, that's the reason, like, all of this, like, I feel like a lot of serial killers... Like
are we talking about Freddy or John Wayne Gacy?
John Wayne Gacy. And other actual serial killers. Like, they always have, like, a type.
Yeah.
And it's because they're, like, angry at themselves because of something or angry at that kind of person for something. Like, what was the really big guy that, like, killed his mom?
Oh, Ed Kemper.
Like, he hated his mom, so he was... going after women.
Yeah, those were replacement murders. He really wanted to murder his mom, but also he developed a severe hatred for women because of his mother, and because he hated his mom so much that it just spread to other women.
Yeah.
So
like that's his genre that he likes to kill, and then like with Dean Corll and John Wayne Gacy, like they went after young boys. Well, Dean Corll's like teenage boys. But like,
yeah, I mean,
John Wayne Gacy would go after younger.
No, John Wayne Gacy got teenage boys.
I thought they were younger.
No, they were teenage boys mostly. But like the last guy he killed was a teenager who was looking for a job, who wanted to get a job with his construction company.
John Wayne Gacy?
Yeah, but
I didn't know he had a construction company.
Yeah, he did. PDM. But John Wayne Gacy was a repressed homosexual.
Yes.
So he wanted, like...
his motive.
Yeah, but he wanted... he would have sex with them, I think, and then he would immediately be, like, disgusted with himself, and then, like, blame them.
Yeah, and kill and torture them.
Yeah.
Because he... was a repressed homosexual.
What are we getting at again?
That Freddy, it makes sense that Freddy would also like have that.
I didn't say it didn't make sense. I said it hurt the franchise because people don't want to go watch a child molester in a movie. as the main character.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it hurt it makes perfect sense that he would molest them, then kill them. From what we know about serial killers and stuff.
Yes.
So.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Anywho.
But I've heard many people say that. It's like they like these movies, but they don't like the later ones because he's just a full-on child molester at that point.
Oh.
And also, like, he gets really silly in the later movies. And
Silly how?
like, he just has weird one-liners and stuff. Like, you're on prime time now, bitch. And when he smashes a girl's head into TV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know who has the best lines?
Who?
Jason.
Oh, he really does.
He has no lines.
Good one, Aaron.
Thank you.
Whisper that. He has no lines, guys.
Okay, anyways, continuing back to the film.
Okay.
This is when they're like talking about the party at Lisa's, right?
Yeah.
Later on.
Hold on. I totally lost my spot in here. Oh, so they see a locker and they're like, oh, there's something in that locker. And they go to open it and you're like, oh, what's going to be in there? And it's just a rat.
Oh yeah, at the power plant.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. And then I think this now is the part where he wakes his sister up. Then they show him taking a bunch of caffeine pills.
So he can stay awake.
Like he's trying to stay awake.
But some of this stuff is happening while he's still awake. So it's like, I don't think that's going to do anything.
And then they're at school and he's like talking with Grady at lunch. And Grady's like, so, like you want to hang out and get pizza or whatever? And then Jesse tries to get him to open up and talk about it, but he doesn't want to. Mm-hmm. And then there's the party at Lisa's house, and they're waiting for the parents to go to bed, which I thought was weird. It's like, why have the parents there at all?
Yeah.
Just be like, they're out of town. It seems so weird to have this subplot with the parents.
Yeah.
So Jesse is not having fun, and he goes in the little cabana, the pool cabana, and she goes in there to talk to him, and he's like, no, I'm leaving. I'm not into this. And she's like, talk to me. He's like, no, I can't. I'm ruining the party. And then they kiss and they start making out.
And then they're about to do it, but then his tongue becomes gross.
His tongue gets really big and like whips out onto her chest, and it freaks him out.
He starts licking her chest. It was very gross.
Yeah.
It made me think of like tentacle porn.
Ugh.
Because it was very tentacle-like.
Yeah. Ugh,
So.
Tentacle porn, so gross.
Anyways.
Yeah, and then he goes to leave, and he goes to run to Grady's house.
I feel like this movie's not really like, I mean, there are definitely some like gay themes in it, but I feel like it's more just like kink themed.
Well, I mean, I don't think the whole gay thing was intentional.
I don't think so either.
I just think it's a bad movie. And there's enough, like, one thing about bad movies is sometimes they're not clear on their theme or what they're going at. So people will watch a bad movie and they'll be like, oh, I think this and I think that.
Yeah.
Like, usually bad movies people have a lot of different interpretations of. Mm-hmm. And people will think, oh, that means it's like smart or whatever. It's like, no, this isn't The Shining. Like people will talk about what The Shining is about because the ending is so ambiguous. But like, that's a smart movie.
Yeah.
But then, people could sit around talking about The Room and like what that's all about. It's like, no, it's just bad. I think this is just a bad movie. That's all I'm going to check it up to.
So after that, he's like, I got to leave. And then he goes to Grady's house.
Yeah. And he confesses that he killed Schneider. And he's like,
you need to watch me sleep. And you can tell he's like freaking out, like he's in a bad place mentally.
Yeah, and I noticed in this scene that his hair was really big.
Yeah.
And I turned to you and I was like, does his hair just get bigger as he gets crazier?
Yeah, and I was like, at the end of the movie, he's going to have Super Saiyan hair. But I feel like his like mental like, I don't know what to call it, but like his mental capacity. No, it's not the right word. Anyways, him mentally like didn't start getting bad until just now, and it just like went from like 1 to like 75.
Yeah, it did.
It's a
as
big
that
jump.
meme says, well, that escalated quickly.
Yes,
You know, so.
it escalates very quickly, and then Grady's like trying to like watch TV, and then he starts to fall asleep. So he turns the TV off, and he's like, "I'm just gonna go to bed." And he does go to bed, and that's when
Yeah.
Jesse wakes up.
Yeah. But before he does, he says, just watch me. And if anything starts to happen, if I start to act weird or start dreaming weird or try to walk out of here, you got to stop me. I don't care if you hit me over the head. Just don't let me leave. And Grady, don't fall asleep. Mm-hmm. So then he wakes up and he's like, it's happening. But it really just looks like he's got to take a bad shit.
Yeah,
Because he's gripping his stomach and going like, oh, God.
it's
Oh,
happening again.
shouldn't have had those dang enchiladas. That's a line from Friday the 13th 5.
Oh my God.
It is, yeah. Guy says, I shouldn't have had those dang enchiladas. And then he runs to the outhouse.
Anyways,
And then you see an eye in the back of his throat. And it's like
Yeah,
Freddy
it's
Krueger's
Freddy's.
inside of him. Yeah. And then
he's inside me.
Freddy Krueger, I want you inside of me.
Anyways, and then his stomach starts tearing apart, and like Jesse's like not there anymore.
Yeah, it looks cool because they made like a whole fake body for
Yeah,
Jesse.
it was pretty cool.
And it was leaning up against the wall so that Robert Englund could rip it in half and climb out of the
Yeah.
set. I was like, wow, that's fucking cool, man.
So he like rips and comes out, and then Grady's like banging on the door, and his parents are awake too. So like they hear all of this going on.
Right.
So
They're just on
everyone
the
is
other side of the
awake.
door.
Yeah, and then they see the claw marks through the door and blood pour out,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah. I liked it. And then
it flips back to Jesse,
yeah.
and he's got the glove on and
Yeah.
covered in blood.
And he sees Krueger in the mirror, which is like another convoluted thing. It was like, he just crawled out of your body, and now you're seeing him in the mirror, and you're a physical person again?
Yeah,
So did he really not rip your body apart and crawl out of you?
I guess.
Yeah. And then, so he goes to Nancy's house. Not Nancy's house. Lisa's house. And he tries to talk to her and get some help. But then while that's happening, I think she's reading Nancy's diary. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh my God, he's coming back. So
And she goes, you are in charge of it. Like, you can stop this.
Oh, that's when she finds out through Nancy's diary that it's fear-based. Like, your fear is what manifests Freddy.
And feeds him.
Yeah, and feeds him, which is a part of the first movie. So I'm glad they called that back. So then he comes back, and it's finally Robert Englund, and she gets a knife, and she tries to stab him very poorly, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, she's like barely touching him with the knife.
Yeah. And then
I think it was to show like, oh, she can't do it. She loves him too much.
Oh, yeah, maybe. But then he goes crashing through the French doors
And he's
out to the pool.
and he disappears.
And he disappears for some reason. And then everybody's like, what's happening?
Because the pool was like boiling.
Yeah, the pool got really hot when he started to change. And then everybody's like, what the hell's going on? And then he pops up again out of nowhere and starts slashing people. And there's like fire shooting up out of the ground and shit.
And the pool starts boiling again.
Yeah. And the fence is like electric for some reason. And I put my notes.
I think it was hot.
Maybe. But I put in my notes, pool party massacre.
But no one died really.
Yeah, well, he slashed a few people.
But they came back.
How?
They were in the next scene. Like, it was really weird.
Well, there was a lot of people there.
Okay.
So, I mean, he didn't kill all of them. And he killed that one dude, that one idiot who tried to stop him. Like, hey, man, let's be cool. All right. Did you like that guy?
I don't remember.
He was like, trying to talk him down. He's like, hey, man, we'll get you whatever help you need, man. Okay. Just have a hit of my joint and just like chill, bro.
Well, I think it was supposed to be like Jesse was there doing that. So they saw Jesse, but he sees himself as Freddy.
I don't know.
Whatever. It's very confusing.
Yeah. But then he says, like, help yourself, fucker. And he stabs him. And then he goes and he says, you're all my children now.
And then he jumps through the fence.
Yeah. So he just made all these children and then he abandoned them. What a great father.
Mm-hmm.
So then we go to the plant. What's her name? Lisa follows them to the plant. And there's these weird bulldogs with like baby masks on.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah. I don't know. Was that part of the dream? Don't know.
And like the plant is now like alive. Like it's like there's boiling lava or something. And
Yeah. And then there's like an insane rat that scares her.
yeah. But I think it's supposed to be like, oh, these are all like, he's messing with her mind.
Yeah.
They're not really there.
Yeah. And then she finds Kruger and she's like, Jesse, I know you're in there.
And she kisses him.
Yeah, she tries to kiss him. Or she does kiss him, I mean. And he gets set on fire. And, like, you think, oh, Jesse's going to die because he's on fire. And then he crawls out of the ashes of Freddy or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, then
That scene, like, I don't
very weird.
I don't even know how to talk about it. It's like so strange and so anticlimactic.
and it's like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very anticlimactic.
Yeah, it's just like it felt like they just got tired of making the movie at this point.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's just wrap this shit up.
And then after that, it's back on the bus again.
Yeah. And yeah, he comes out of his house and he's doing fine. He says bye to his family and his mom. And he's in a good mood. He even like throws his hands up in the air like victory.
Yeah. Like,
And-
don't you forget about me. Reference to an
Club.
80 movies.
Yeah. And so he gets on the bus with Lisa and Grady and they're like, he's like, oh, the bus driver's going too fast.
Because Grady's not dead.
Huh?
No, Grady was dead.
Wait, he wasn't on the bus?
I don't remember.
Oh, no. There's a different girl that's sitting behind him.
Yeah, it's Lisa's friend.
Okay, yeah.
That's been
right.
through the whole movie.
But anyway, he's like, the bus driver's going too fast. And they're like, look, just calm down. And then he's like, oh, I guess you're right. I guess it's not
Well,
that
they
big a deal.
stop, and that's when he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you're like, everything's okay.
Yeah. And then they start driving fast again. And it's Freddy. And he drives them off into the desert, just like the movie started.
Which was weird.
Yeah, which was weird. But that's, how horror movies end. They always want to end on a bleak note to, make you thirsty for a sequel. Like
If I would have seen this as the first one, I would have been like, I don't want to see that again. I don't want to see another one.
the first movie ends, Nancy gets in the convertible with her friends. And then as they're driving away, like the hood, not the hood, the top goes on the convertible and it's got the same stripes as like Freddy's sweater.
Claws. Oh.
Yeah, and then somebody reaches through the window of the door and pulls her mom through the door. It was weird, but it was good. It was way better than this one.
Yeah, but that's it.
Yeah, so Aaron, on a scale of 1 to 9 cat lives, how many cat lives did this movie slay?
I'm going to say 4.
All right.
I don't know what I was expecting, but this wasn't it. Like you said, like there's a lot of like it's all over the place. Like it's like, what are you trying to say and what are you trying to focus on? It was very hard to like watch it to like understand what was going on. But I mean, like there were some like interesting moments. There were some interesting effects that were here in the movie. I I would not watch this as your first Freddy movie. So yeah.
No, definitely don't watch this as your first.
Yeah. Joey, what is your rating from 1 to 9 cat lives?
You know what? I thought I was going to give this movie like a 2 or something like that. But I actually did enjoy watching it this time around, so I'm going to give it a 4. It's a total miss as a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, right? But I think like if this same movie was a standalone horror movie and it wasn't Freddy who was trying to possess him, it was some sort of demon or something like that, I think it would have been really good if they weren't, because they're trying to like strong arm these like dream sequences into it, and they just don't work. It's too convoluted.
Yeah.
And the ending is pretty weak, but I think if they had come up with a new concept for a new type of villain, that your fear or your teenage angst causes you to turn into this demon, I think it would make a really cool movie.
Yeah.
But to try to make this a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, it just didn't work. But I'm glad that they still made another sequel to it, because the third one is a lot of fun.
Oh, okay.
It's where these kids, they figure out that they can go in their dream and fight back at Freddy. So that one's pretty cool.
That's cool.
But despite what I said that's bad about this movie, I still enjoyed it. And I kind of enjoyed it even more because of the, like, reading about the gay panic overtones or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you're someone who saw this movie and you're gay and you like it, please write in and tell us what it is about it, because I would love to know, because I don't think the people who made it, their intention was not to uplift gay people in any way.
Yeah.
So I would like to know what it is that you like about this movie.
Yeah. So for the last thing that we're going to do today, we're going to do a little queer TV and film, but it's straight washed version. So these are like films or video, like movies, TV shows that have originally gay characters, but they changed their sexuality for the movie or TV show.
Therefore destroying the whole narrative.
Yeah, like kind of messing up. Because like a lot of these are like based off of books or based off of other things, comic books. It might be a video game or something where someone is gay in it, and then they changed it for the movie, which is sad because gay people are everywhere. So the first one I'm going to talk about, have you ever seen Fried Green Tomatoes?
Yeah, I've seen it a bunch.
So there's two female characters, Idgy, okay,
yeah.
And Ruth. And in the original novel, at the Whistle Stop Cafe, it revolves around the sexual relationship between them, the two. It says burgeoning.
Burgeoning?
I don't know what that word means. Anyways, but in the film, in the 1991 film, it just makes them like, oh, really close gal pals.
Yeah. That movie came out when I was a kid, and I think we went to see it in the theater or something like that. But my whole life, I thought that the movie was just about like, oh, these two like really close friends. And part of the movie is that one of them has an abusive husband, so they come up with a plot to kill him.
Oh.
But it's there's some fun stuff in that movie, but I think taking that part out of it really did ruin it.
Okay, so the next one is Mystique from X-Men. It is said that she's a bisexual character, and they've made her very straight, and especially the recent film. So it says her name is Raven Darkholm. Is that her original name in like the...
I don't really know much about Mystique. I didn't know she was bisexual in the books.
So she was been in romantic and sexual relationships with both men and female characters. Her most significant relationship with Destiny, a fellow member of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, with whom she raised a child. But you couldn't get any of that from the X-Men films, where Mystique has transformed from different actors to play them, but they never take any interest in female characters. So some 16 years on screen, X-verse fans are getting tired of the bisexual erasure.
That's
so
cool.
like they're like taking away that bisexuality of Mystique in the movies.
I think she's a shapeshifter, right? You knew that. And same thing
So
with...
she shapeshifts into male and female people.
Yeah, that's where I think that they got that really came from, because it's like, well, is Mystique really like, she's usually in the shape of her woman.
Yeah.
Like, that's her usual form, but is she really a woman, or is she just in that shape?
But I mean, her original form is female. So
Okay.
if my original form is female and I transform myself to sleep with a woman, I would find that. I mean, it's still Mystique.
I'm not questioning anything. I'm just saying, like, because I didn't know that she was bisexual, even though I read the comic books when I was younger. But I was like, I think where that stems from is the shapeshifter thing.
Yeah.
But they also say, people were saying that Morph in that the new cartoon that just came out, that he's supposed to be like pansexual or something too. So, yeah. Anyway.
I could see that.
Yeah, and I think that makes for a more dynamic character in a movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I haven't seen... I've only seen the older X-Men movies where it was Rebecca Romaine Stamos. Mm-hmm. And she's not really... doesn't have a big role in it. But I think the one with Jennifer Lawrence, like, she's a more... a bigger character in those movies.
Yeah. So the next one I'm going to talk about is Celie Johnson from The Color Purple.
A movie we've watched.
We have watched. So in Alice Walker's original novel, the protagonist Celie lives a life of abuse and rape, which we all know from the hands of her father, and then she gets it from her husband. But she has a sexual awakening and an intimate encounter with a woman, Shug. But the director, Steven Spielberg, toned down the lesbian portrayal from the book. And he reduced any romantic connection between the women to a single kiss. So there was more in the book than what was on screen. And Whoopi Goldberg played Celie on screen, told Roger Ebert she considered the movie's kiss one of sisterly affection. It had nothing to do with lesbianism. Which
it's played that way in the movie.
It definitely is. But I think in the book, it's not like that. So
yeah.
So that's...
Yeah, it's like, in the book, it sounds like it's a full-on, like, lesbian sexual encounter.
Mm-hmm. The next one is Paul from Breakfast at Tiffany's.
I've never seen that movie.
Have you never? Okay, I haven't seen it either. But it said that the narrator of Breakfast at Tiffany's is a stand-in for gay author Truman Capote.
Truman Capote.
Capote. And he is homosexual, at one point expressing an attraction to the character of Jose. But when the story turned into a classic film starring Audrey Hepburn, the narrator got fleshed out into the character Paul Varjak, played by George Peppard. And the film decided to take the plots originally more... The film also decided to take the plot, originally more a collection of observations from the character Holly's life, and turns it into a romance between Paul and Holly.
Oh, interesting. I also heard in that movie that Mickey Rooney is not actually Chinese, in that his portrayal was offensive. Mm-hmm. But I just thought it was accurate.
He's joking. Okay.
Have you seen a clip from that? Like, I just said I've never seen that movie.
What was the movie?
A Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh, yeah.
Mickey Rooney plays a he's supposed to be the comedic relief. But I saw a TikTok video of all things where it's like, this is why you never see Breakfast at Tiffany's on TV anymore. Yeah. And they showed clips of his performance, and it is incredibly offensive.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is Interview with a Vampire, Lestat and Louise. So Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicle series makes very clear that the vampire Lestat engages regularly in sexual relationships with male and female companions. In the novel Interview with a Vampire... Oh, hold on.
The novel?
Includes vital, important long-term relationships with Louise. Oh, so Louise and... I've never seen that movie either. A lot of these I haven't seen. Elsat and Louise actually had a relationship in the novel. Louis. Louis in the novel Interview with a Vampire introduces readers to Elsat lying down beside him so intimately. Yet none of this made it into the adaptation with Tom Cruise, where Tom Cruise plays Elsat and Brad Pitt portrays Louis. But the two do not appear to be romantically involved with each other at all.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I can't remember if it's good or not. What's interesting about it, I thought about doing it for this month because it's an example of like a same-sex family because they turn, what's her butt? Kirsten Dunst. They turn her into a vampire and she's like a 10-year-old kid or something like that. And since you don't age as a vampire, she stays a little kid forever. And they're like her two dads.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird. And I used to watch that movie all the time when I was a kid.
It's probably in the novel, it's probably like meant to be like that.
Yeah, it is. And but I didn't know.
They wanted a family. Aww.
We should watch that movie sometime.
I'd totally love to watch that.
I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid, and none of that ever crossed my mind. I was like, vampires are fucking cool, man. Also, I think Brad Pitt and what's his name? The other vampire.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Tom
Cruise. I said it before you. Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt are horribly miscast.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, because it's a period piece.
Yeah.
And they're not period piece actors. They're these handsome, like modern leading men.
Okay, our next one is Brick from Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Have you ever seen Cat on a Hot Tin Roof?
Yes, I have. I think I might have read the play too. Tennessee Williams.
But there's no information about it.
Oh.
So I think this is like a thing from... Because Tennessee Williams is gay.
Was he? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
And he would write a lot of his plays had characters that were kind of like dealing with homosexuality, but like hiding it because like he had to hide it.
Right.
So with that movie, I don't know. I've never seen the movie version, but I know the play. And in the play, his wife, Brick's wife, she's a beard.
Yeah.
A big time beard. Is that kind of portrayed in the movie?
No, they God, it sucks. Cause they got good actors to be in this movie, but, they tone it down so much that the subtext kind of completely disappears. And, Tennessee Williams was alive when that movie came out, and he went to see it, and he walked out of the theater so pissed off that he told people waiting in line to go see another movie.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They ruined his play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real shame because they got, Paul Newman to be in it. So,
but yeah, like there's a lot of times where he talks about like, football and all of these other things. Like all of their relationship is a, facade. And like I think his wife is throughout the play is like, I want a kid. I want.
Does she know that she's a beard?
She totally knows.
Okay.
He was like, we got into this because you wanted this too. Like, this was a contractual thing. And now you're changing it. No, we can't do that. And so that's kind of like what the issues with the relationship is.
Maybe I haven't read the play then.
None of these have. Oh, there was one, but I don't know that movie. Do you know Crossfire?
No.
Well,
Cole Porter.
Cole Porter. I love Cole Porter.
I want to watch that movie DeLovely with you. It's about his relationship with him and his wife.
Yeah.
And they do not shy away from the gay stuff in that one. So.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
Okay.
Because the other ones don't have any information on them. And a lot of them I have not seen.
All right, guys. Well, that's gonna do it for us today. I hope you weren't offended by this movie selection, but we did our best.
Hey, I want you to know that Joey and I love gay people. A lot of our friends and our family are gay, and we love you all the same as everyone else.
I just love all people.
Yeah.
No matter what, you're all special to me.
Aww. That's why I love him.
That's why I minored in sociology in college. They said I was going for film, and they're like, "Hey, you can minor in anything you want. It doesn't matter. You can minor whatever." And I was like, "I'm going to minor in sociology because I like learning about different groups of people."
Yeah.
So, anyway, I don't know why I got off on that tangent.
So, if we were offensive, we did not mean to be at all.
I don't think we were offensive. I think this movie selection might be offensive.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to write in and tell us about it, please, it's joeyanderinpod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think.
We'd love to hear from you. If there's any films you want us to do in the future, make sure you also subscribe to this so that you can hear our upcoming episodes.
Yep. Thanks. And don't forget to slay and neuter your cats. We'll see you next time.